Who doesn't love alternate history? Imagining how some things could have turned out if some prerequisites were different. Well, recently, a YouTube channel going by the name Husavi Productions made a couple of videos with all endings for different countries. These were very interesting and sometimes wacky scenarios, which showed some spicy alternate history. Given this is right up my alley, I've decided to do some commentary on this. Also, feel free to comment below which ending would be the best. So thank you Husavi Productions for making this video, and let's get started with the first scenario. So, first of all, we have the good ending. All the lands of the Crown of Saint Wenceslas were united under the flag of one independent Czech state. So I guess this is the ultimate Czech monarchist dream, not a monarchist Habsburgist, but přemyslet or nationalist dream. This would mean things such as the First World War doesn't happen. This would mean we were never under the influence of Habsburgs. It would be hard for such a state to survive. I don't even know what religion would the state have. If it would be Hussite, if it would be Catholic, but I don't think it would be Catholic. If it would be maybe Protestant, given its closeness to countries like Brandenburg. And also interestingly, I don't know if this state would be more German or more Slavic / Czech or West Slavic. So good ending, sure, but an unlikely one. Very unlikely one, actually. At least in my opinion. So next up, we have the bad ending. Okay, and in the bad ending, we see the 30 Years' War has completely destroyed the Czech lands, which were resettled by Austrian Germans. I don't think the lands would be resettled by Austrian Germans. I think, as in our timeline, what happened, I think the Czech culture would slowly incorporate into Austrian culture, being pushed out, Czech language being pushed out by German language, etc., etc. So Czechs basically being Germanized, which at that point they were already pretty German, or we were pretty German. So sure, this isn't ideal if you would be a Czech nationalist, but this isn't terrible, honestly. There were worse fates that could happen to Bohemia than being ruled by the Austrians, at least in my opinion. Of course, Austrians still did some shady and bad stuff, but there were worse things that could happen. Great Moravian ending. Okay, so Great Moravia consolidated power and became the undisputed ruler of Central Europe. So I guess the Bohemian dynasty never died out. That means the Přemysl dynasty in Bohemia never took power, which also means rulers such as Přemysl Otakar I, Přemysl Otakar I, or even from the Luxembourg dynasty Charles IV. These rulers never existed because we were under Great Moravia until this day. So that's really interesting. This would also mean this country would be Orthodox Christian, much closer to Russia and the East, because Great Moravia was Orthodox after being Christianized. So that is definitely interesting, and I wonder if such a state could survive until the modern day, or if it would be, conquered in the 20th or 19th century. Okay, the Hussite ending. The troops of Jan Žižka defended Bohemia against the Crusaders, Crusades, which became a flashpoint for the earlier Reformation. So, interesting. In our timeline, what happened was that the non-radical Hussites, the Utrakists, sided with the Catholics, and for about 150-200 years, Bohemia was a non-radical Hussite country to an extent. Like 60% of the population was Utrakist, if I'm not mistaken. So here the radical Hussites, the Taborites, led by Jan Žižka, win, which is interesting. And being the flashpoint for the earlier Reformation means the Catholics lose much more ground. And I guess in this ending, I think we are very close to other Protestant countries, other Protestant German countries. And Austrians have no power over us. I just don't think the country would be so religious in the modern age. But maybe it would. I have no clue. Coming from a very agnostic / atheist background, as all Czechs do. Religion being quite foreign to me. Okay, the Přemyslet ending. Great. This is quite a fantasy, right? So, The Přemysl dynasty isn't wiped out, the Luxembourg dynasty doesn't take power. We have holds in what would today be Poland. We have access to 2 seas. I don't think such a state could survive the 20th century, because, you know, eventually there will be some other empires which want to push, and this would be an empire which could stand its own ground, of course, but empires fall all the time, and this seems like such a multi-ethnic empire that it wouldn't be stable at all. So this could exist in medieval times, but I don't think this could exist in the modern times at all. And alternative to the Přemysl ending, the Luxembourg ending, this is much more possible in my opinion. The Luxembourg dynasty doesn't die. We hold some states within the Holy Roman Empire. Still pretty unlikely. Still something I could imagine in the medieval times, you know, but something I couldn't imagine surviving until the modern day. Secret Celtic ending. Okay, secret Celtic ending. Sure. The Celts aren't pushed out by the Germans, but you know, this isn't something I would call Czech or Bohemian. This would be a country, if it survived, this would be a country that is inhabited by Celts. So there's no connection to today's Bohemians. Sure, still very interesting. What could have been. But this country is basically completely removed from today's Czech culture. Czechoslovakian ending, or good Czechoslovakian ending. Czechoslovakia, attacked by Germany in 1938, defeated Germans with the help of Poland and France. So first of all, I don't think Poland would help us in 1938. France, you know, didn't help us. But things could have been a bit different, and maybe they could have helped us if there's inner stability was better. Poland, on the other hand, in 1938 still had a non-aggression agreement with Germany, and the relationship between the German Reich and Poland, which at that point was pretty authoritarian, was pretty good still. So. But sure, let's say France helped us, let's say Poland helped us to some extent, but I don't find it realistic. And let's say we beat the Germans. This would be great, no Soviet influence, and we own a puppet state in Saxony, which I don't think we would, but sure. So this is great. But still, I want to make a whole video talking about what if Czechoslovakia defended itself in 1938, and you know, if we could have won the war, maybe with the help of France. Still, France was very unstable at the time. So, who knows? A nationalist ending. Czechoslovakia, led by the National Fascist League, I think they mean NOF, Národní obec fašistická, Radola Gajda's party in the First Republic, formed an anti-Soviet and anti-German pact with Italy and Austria. Radola Gajda's party was much not very fan of Austrians and Italians. They were bigger fans of the pan-Slavic ideals, anti-communist pan-Slavic ideas. But I don't think this would be likely at all, because the Národní obec fašistická, the fascist party in the First Republic, had about 3% of the vote in one election, so there wasn't enough popular support to support such idea. We do have the imperial ending. Bohemia, by the way of expansions, conquered most of the Holy Roman Empire, imposing the Czech culture on its inhabitants. If the Holy Roman Empire exists and we are part of it, there is no Czech culture. Because when we were part of the Holy Roman Empire, even before the rule of Habsburgs, we were basically Slavic-speaking Germans, at least from my point of view. We had our unique culture, but it was still very German. Yeah, the Západoslavian ending. After the First World War, the nations of Poland, Czechia and Slovakia and Ruthenia were united within the Federation of Západoslavia, so the West Slavic Federation. This is something I talked about when I was talking about Radola Gajda and the National Fascist Party. But I don't think this could happen because of the strained relationship between Czechoslovakia and Poland after the First World War. You know, we fought a 7 Days War over the area of Češín. The video files got corrupted, but regardless, this is the last image. It's Austro-Slavist ending, so we can see that instead of the Austro-Hungarian dual monarchy, we have a trial monarchy, and this is a topic I'll be making a video about shortly, so stay tuned for that. Thanks a ton for watching this video, I hope it was fun, and do check out my other content on this channel, which is usually about politics, music or history, or content on my Czech channel, which is always about Czech politics. Bye.